Here in Game 4. Saw Kevin Durant, and there's the guy who's been at the center of all the talk over the last 24 hours. That is Draymond Green, who will play tonight in Game 4. And we welcome you to TNT NBA Tip-Off, presented by Auto Trader, live from Oklahoma City. Ernie Johnson along with Shaquille O'Neal and Kenny the Jet Smith and Charles Barkley. You're going to hear from all of them in just a second. We start, however, with the Draymond Green story. Okay, look, he kicked Steven Adams the other day. It was a flagrant 1. Upon review the next day, it was upgraded to a flagrant 2, but no suspension. Joe Borgia is the senior VP of replay and referee operations for the NBA. Joe, thanks for spending a couple of seconds here with us. Just tell me this. How close did Draymond Green come to not playing in this game?
Well, Ernie, I'm sure it was very close. This was not an easy decision by the league office. You know, we have investigators that spoke to the 3 referees on the court, the replay center official, the players involved, which may be the most important group. And at the end of the day, the investigators got with Kiki Vandeweghe, and a decision was made that this would be upgraded to a flagrant 2 with a fine with no suspension, and that was agreed to by the commissioner.
Joe, I have 2 questions for you. Number 1, who ultimately makes the final decision, the referees or the NBA? That's my first question.
On the court, the referees make the final decision as to what is going to happen in the game. Post-game, that final decision is made by Kiki Vandeweghe, Executive Vice President of Basketball Operations, with approval of Commissioner Adam Silver.
Second part of this question, I'm not a big fan of this transparency. Are you guys really just basically screwing the referees after games, telling what they did wrong? What purpose does that serve?
Well, Charles, over the course of years, people want to know, was a critical call correct? And in the past, the NBA was very selective on last play of the game that may have cost the team. So there was no criteria of when to do it, when not to do it. So when Adam came in, the decision was made that we have a formula. It really shows us how good the referees are, especially in the last 2 minutes of the game. Needless to say, usually we're talking about incorrect decisions, but when you look at the body of work over the last 2 minutes, their numbers are outstanding. They're in the mid-90s of correct calls.
The question I have is, after seeing the Draymond Green play, and you got to see it in slow motion, 18 angles, if you had that knowledge as a referee, would you in the game had suspended him in the game, or do you think you would have just given him a technical foul in the game?
Well, on this play, you have some options, because you got to remember, there was a personal foul called. And I think what happened is Draymond tried to enhance the contact like many players do to make sure the officials saw the foul, that it would be called. And his enhancement was his leg going forward and unfortunately catching Adams in, the private part. So on the court, the officials come to replay. So really this happens after the personal foul. So their options would be a technical foul, a flagrant foul 1, or a flagrant foul 2. And after replay, they determined flagrant foul 1 was the best decision with the knowledge they had.
Was the reason the foul was upgraded to a flagrant foul 2 because of where he kicked him, the area he kicked him in? My question is, what if he would have kicked him in the knee or the ankle? Which penalty would he have received then?
I'm not sure. I'm not in those big decisions there. I'm not on the court, but clearly when the contact is above the shoulders to the head area or to the private parts, I think you have to think of an upgrade. So my guess would be if it was, to his leg or something, the flagrant foul 1 probably would have been sufficient.
All right, Joe Borgia, thank you very much for the explanations, and here's to a quiet night in Game 4 in the replay center.
Have a great game, fellas.
All right, thank you very much. So you may have noticed as we came on the air here, there's a little similarity in the neckwear on all 4 of us here tonight. And in fact, this bow tie by the way, used to be one of your regular ties that my wife, Cheryl Ann, fashioned into a bow tie. She can do anything with a sewing machine. But this is all
with a husband.
This is all part of an initiative. D. Wade is with the tiebar.com, and this is all for blood cancers and Sager, Sager Strong. And so tomorrow you're going to be able to go to that website and buy ties and pocket squares. Sorry, there's no bows, unless you get a hold of my wife and she makes you one. But all of this is going to go to support blood cancers and that kind of thing. So great move by D. Wade, and a great move by Tie Bar. And speaking of Craig Sager, he is courtside, and he's wearing that very same tie as well. This is great stuff, Sags. Just another example of how many folks are supporting you in your fight and all you've meant in the course of the last couple of years in your battle with leukemia, and working through that. And I know you've got some thoughts here on Game 4.
Well, yeah, but first of all, about your bow tie, it's funny, I talked to Dwayne Wade, and he wanted to send a bow tie, and I said, Dwayne, I love your bow ties, but that's Ernie's thing. I said, it would be great if Ernie had a bow tie, but I said, I'd rather have just a plain tie. I don't want to take away from Ernie's trademark. So poor Cheryl did all that work.
Yeah, exactly.
And she could have just called Dwayne Wade, and he could have got one of his.
No, but how I never would have been able to shout her out in her sewing talents. But anyway, that's beside the point. Now let's get to Game 4.
Well, we talked so much about what happened with Draymond Green, and Kiki Vandeweghe said he couldn't make his decision. It was very tough until late last night. But as far as the Oklahoma City Thunder goes, they said that they thought it was a done deal, that they expected. They practiced just like Draymond would not get suspended at all. And in fact, today, it was Kevin Durant who said this is what they expected.
I'm not going to suspend Draymond Green. He's one of the premier players in the league arguably one of the best teams in the history of the game. I'm not going to suspend him. I didn't really think about it. I knew the league was going to, let him play or fine him or I think upgrade him to a flavor too. We all knew that was going to happen. That's just, the league's about business, man. So I get it. There's no hard feelings, and we're not upset about it. It's just how it goes.
One thing that's been lost in all this is the severity of the injury. Now, Steven Adams suffered a testicular contusion. That is similar to what Manu Ginobili suffered during the regular season. He had to have surgery, and he was out over a month. Now, I talked to Stephen Yates, the team physician for the Oklahoma City Thunder. He said they're trying to get some type of added protection besides a compression belt that Steven Adams would wear. They talked to the Oklahoma football team about maybe the cups that the football players wear, but Steven Adams found that to be kind of abrasive and rubbing. So they went to the Martial Arts Center. So they have a martial arts belt. It's called an anti-foul belt that Steven Adams is in the back right now experimenting with, and that's what he may use tonight for added protection. Because if it happened again, he may be having surgery or all sorts of hematoma, swelling, and he could be out for the playoffs.